Excel accounting practice problem. Bank reconciliation, month 2, part 1. Get ready because we're about to excel. Here we are in our Excel worksheet. In prior presentations, we put together the worksheet from a blank sheet. Now we're continuing to enter transactions into it. If you have access to it, there's 2 tabs on down below, an example tab and a practice tab. The practice tab starting out where we left off last time. The example tab, in essence, being an answer key. Let's take a look at it now. Last time we looked at the bank reconciliation for the first month. Now we're going to start the bank reconciliation for the second month. It usually being easier given the fact that we don't have that beginning balance type of issue, but it's a good practice to do because we could see the impact of the outstanding items last time. I'm going to scroll to the right and how that will impact the bank reconciliation for the second month. So I'm going to look all the way to the right, which is where we're going to be constructing our bank reconciliation. This is the prior one we did last time for January. We're now on February. Similar type of process. We're going to be pulling over the general ledger account, in essence, looking at the detail for just the month of February. But we also going to have to take into consideration those outstanding items that were in the prior bank reconciliation that had not yet cleared. So we got to think about those when we go into the current bank reconciliation. We'll do the same process, thinking about it first, kind of like how it would be set up in a QuickBooks type of software or something like that to help us with the process of reconciling in a worksheet like this. And then we'll do a format that you might be more likely to see in a text problem, in a textbook type of problem. And then we'll get to that ending bank reconciliation that will be generated typically from software and or that you could come up with in a textbook type of problem. So let's go back to the right side and get this thing set up. So let's do some cleanup work here. I'm going to take these ending balances on the left-hand side. Let's copy those ending balances, Control C. I'm going to put them into our beginning balances, right-click and pasting 1, 2, 3. Let's delete the items in the middle so we can focus in just on what we're doing on the current data. We can then hide the cells on the left. And so I'm going to go from Y all the way to the wall. We don't need any of that stuff quite yet. So I'm going to hide those at this point. And then I'm going to go all the way to the right. Now we are looking this time at the ending balance, which is currently, as of the end of February, the 95,779. We can also find that, of course, on the checking account in terms of the end number, the 95,779 here. We're comparing that to our bank statement. This is going to be our bank statement where we have the beginning balance here now being the same as the ending balance for the prior month, the additions, the subtractions, the ending balance, the detail on down below. So let's go back on over and we're going to go to the right and give us some more space that we can work with all the way at the right. So we're going to scroll all the way over here to where we're constructing. So we have a little bit of space here. Let's add some more room. I'm just going to add some more cells so we got some space to work. It's going to need quite a bit of room. So we're going to right click and insert some more columns in here. And there we go. So we're going to start off same thing we did last time, which is pulling over our detailed information, this time for the month of February, which is on this worksheet. So I'm looking for the GL account. I'm going to pick up the GL account over here to get the activity. I'm just going to copy and paste it, although I'll have to paste it specially so that we don't mess up the data as we pull it over. So I'm just going to copy the GL. This is for February. Here's our starting balance. And then we roll down. Although, again, this starting balance is a little deceptive because you'll recall last time we entered these items for January down here due to us doing the 2 bank reconciliations at the end point. So we got to be a bit careful there. But I'm going to copy this whole thing, Control C, and bring this all the way to the right as our basis point that we'll be working with, all the way on over to the right. So there we have it. Let's put a skinny right here. We'll put a skinny right there. And then we're going to paste it. I'm going to paste it 1, 2, 3. So I get the values. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste the formula. So I get the formulas. And then I'll not the formulas, the formatting, not the formulas. And then I'm going to re-enter the formulas just for the running balance here, which is going to be the prior balance plus the activity. And then just copy that down. So we've just recreated our balance here, and the ending balance is at that 95,779, the 95,779. So now we're going to take a look and construct a worksheet similar to this worksheet. So let's see if we can possibly just copy this over. I don't need to really compare these two cells here. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing right there. We'll copy that and try to pull this over so we got the same kind of formatting. Let's make another fairly skinny column here, and I'm just going to paste that. Let's just paste it normal right there. So there we have it. Now the deposits, I'm going to remove these now. I'm going to remove the detail, and I'm going to remove the detail down here in the clear transactions, and now we've got our worksheet that we could just pull our information from. And so let's work this out now. So now this would be like if you were to go into a software like a QuickBooks and say, let me do the reconciliation for the second month. Then it would start off and it would typically give you the beginning balance, which would match last period's ending balance, which would be very easy now, 61,241 in our case. We could do it this way. This is going to be equal to the ending balance last time. So the ending balance last time for the bank statement, or the cleared balance, you might call it. We could say the cleared balance is this one, 61,242 about, right? So that's going to be the cleared balance that we left off with last time in our worksheet. And then we're going to have the activity that we're going to be ticking and tying off from. Now we have the added complication now that we don't have just the data in the month of February, but also these outstanding items. These outstanding items have not yet cleared. We would expect them to clear this time. So I've got my current data that happened in the month of February and the uncleared transactions. This is from my bank reconciliation that would also be added. It would also be in the group of things that I can pick from when I'm doing my ticking and tying and comparing and contrasting from the bank data to the current data. So if I go back on over and I say, okay, now I'm going to do my thing where I basically compare and contrast because I'm at the same starting point, and I'm going to look at my deposits. I'm looking for the 3472.50. So we're looking for the 3472.50 in the deposit. There it is. Let's go ahead and make that green, and I'll go up top, and these are the cleared deposits, which are going to be equal to starting at that one, which was put in our books in the prior month, but cleared in the month of February. So we're going to bring that one over. That looks good. That's the only one from the prior month. It wasn't in the current data. Everything else should be in the current data. So I'm going to go ahead and make that. Let's make that yellow, 12,250. So we're looking for the 12,250. There it is right there. Let's make that green, and we'll pull that in. This is going to be equal to the 22, and this will be equal to the 12,250 there. Then we've got the 4508, so 4508. So this is going to be right there, so that looks good. We have that, 4508, and we'll greenify that one, making it green to check it off on both sides. Then we're looking for the 750. Let's make this yellow. 750 is right there, so let's make it green. 750, pulling that over to my worksheet, 750 equals the 750. And then we can go back on over and say we found the 750, making that yellow. We're looking for 400 now. There's the 400. We're going to make that green and check it off, which is what the green kind of does. That's what the green means. The green means check off. There's the 400. Now these two, we have on our side, they haven't cleared the bank yet. Now this one you would expect it to have cleared because that's kind of old. So we would want to double check those and make sure that they have cleared in the following month. But we're going to assume that they're going to be outstanding. They're going to be reconciling items. Let's go to the other side of things. Now these are going to be a little bit, there's a couple of them that were a little bit more confusing, that you'll see some problems if something's grouped a little bit differently on the bank statement as our books that we'll have to kind of figure out. So we'll have a couple little adjustments, so we'll see those problems. So we got the 1012, this is the 3572. We're just going by the amount and the date in essence. So we're looking for the 3572, that's right here. And notice it was outstanding last time, so we wrote the check in January. It's now clearing in February. So this one is clearing in February. So we're pulling it basically from the outstanding items from last time that hadn't yet been cleared. This is where the added kind of wrinkle comes in, which is kind of easy to do within a QuickBooks system or accounting software because they would just be lined up in the things that you could check off that hadn't yet cleared yet. But this is maybe giving a better conceptual idea of where those are actually coming from, how the QuickBooks is constructing them. So we're going to then say, okay, let's check that off. Then we got the 410, which is right here. So I'm going to check that off. This is going to be something that we wrote last period. And so that's going to be equal to the 410. So there's the 410. Then let's check that off. We have the 1856. There's the 1856. Let's make that green. And we're going to bring that over. We wrote that last period and it's clearing in the current month. So there is that. And then the next one is going to be 200. So we're looking for the 200. So that's going to be over here, 200. That looks like this one. So I'm going to make that green. And then we'll check that off. That has been checked off for the 210 as well. And then we're going back over. Let's make that green. We're looking for the 130. The 130 is right there. Notice the order doesn't necessarily need to be the same because if it's ordered by date on the bank statement, and our dates might differ because they might have cleared, they might have taken longer to clear, so that the ordering might not be exactly the same. And so we're going to go back on over and say, okay, we found the 130. Now we're looking at the 1358. So the 1358 is, I believe, one of these. It's off by $1 due to rounding. So it should be down to the penny if you were doing this, in an accounting system, but we rounded everything. So we got to deal with the rounding issues. So I'm assuming that's the 1359. And let's flip the sign to make everything the same. So this one was actually written in the current period and cleared in the current period. And I'm flipping it to make them all positive numbers over here. So we wrote it in February. So let's check that one off, check it off. We're looking for the 180. So there's the 180 is right here. So we'll check that off. So that's going to be equal to, we wrote that on 228. This is going to be equal to, let's make it negative of the 180 to flip the sign. And that is that one. So 180. And then we're looking at the 468 or 469 about. So that one is not here. That's one of the ones that there's a bit of an issue with it. So let's take a look at it. The 185640, the 1856. So we have that one is right here. So I'm going to check it off. So that is this one. 1856 is that one. And let's flip the sign, making it a positive. So that is that one. I haven't found the 4. And then the 1080. The 1080 is right there. So let's make it green. We've got the 1080 is this one. So we will pick it up and make it a positive by flipping the sign. Now this one is the one that's causing us the problem. And you can see when some of these problems will be put in place. This is one where we paid the sales tax. And this item right here in our practice problem, this one was done. We paid the sales tax. Actually, we kind of mocked the sales tax in our practice problem when we put it into like a QuickBooks software as if we are paying the state of California, which actually has 2 taxes, a state and a local tax. And so really there's actually two payments that are happening here that we combined together when we put it into our system here. You could find some of these same kind of issues would be in there when you did the payroll. We talked about the payroll might be done in an outside system, and then we might put it in our system in a lump sum. On the deposit side, if it doesn't get grouped together, we have the same issue kind of there. And we have that issue with the sales tax here, which if the sales tax was done kind of outside and we were trying to put their data into our system, again, we kind of compile them together. So the problem is one of these cleared, of course, and one of them did not. So that's going to be an issue. So what I'm going to do is break this amount out to the two amounts that reflect us paying the city and then us paying the state instead of just one amount for sales tax. So I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to right click and insert and shift down. And so I'm going to make this then on 228. One of them is going to be for the 1875 and the other, let's say negative 1875 and negative 469. And this is on 228 as well. And then this one I'll keep blue. Well, let's keep them both. And then this one down here is the one that's going to clear. That one's going to clear. So I'm going to clear this one on 228. We'll clear that one. I got to fix my running balance here. This is on 228. So I'm going to copy this down, copy the running balance down. I should end up at the same ending point that we had before, which was, I believe, the 95779. That should match what's on the trial balance still. So in other words, if I go all the way to the right, I didn't actually change the ending balance from the general ledger all the way. We're still at the 95779. So it looks like we're still good. I just broke those two out into the two components. So I'm going to go all the way back to the right. You can see how tedious that kind of is to do those type of things. So you want to try to put it in, you want to try to think about that while you're doing your data input, so you don't have to do those types of things. So then we're going to go down and say, okay, there's the 1080, and then we picked up that last one, which is equal to the 469. I'm going to make that then a positive number by flipping the sign. So that if I sum these up, we're at, then summing those up, we're at the 11,113. If I go over here, we picked that one up now, 169. We picked it up. So I'm going to make that yellowifying that one. And so we don't have these last two, the withdrawals and the bank service charges again. So we then are at the 11,113 versus here we've got the 11,633. If we look at my ending result, we're going to say the balance is going to be the beginning balance 61,242 plus the cleared deposits 51,982 minus the checks of the 11,113 and decreases, comparing that to the ending bank balance being the 101,590 about. So 101,590. So we're off by 520, 521 about, which of course is this difference that we haven't fixed yet. So if we were to put this into QuickBooks or some kind of accounting software, this would be the process. Again, not of this statement right here is not a bank reconciliation. It's helping us to check off doing the ticking and tying process in order for the bank reconciliation to be created, which would be created from the unticked off items, which would include this item that still hasn't cleared, even though we wrote it in January, and then these uncleared items as well would be used to create the bank rec, and we'll get more into that in the next presentation.